Hey there, Neal Oates Jr. of World Renowned Real Estate here, and it is my favorite time of the month, and that is because the housing numbers just came in or just have been released by Florida Realtors for the month of July 2019. Now, I am super excited about this month for what we're going to call the general real estate market, but also for the luxury realm, and we will talk about that in a moment. But before we get started, I do want to clarify a couple of terms and the terminology I will be using in this video. The first thing is when we are talking about the days on market or sales prices, we're primarily going to be using median days on market, median sales prices. I will, for the very beginning, be talking about the average sales price so that if you are looking to buy or sell, you will understand the difference and you'll see the difference in the values, and there is a significant difference in those values. Now, the other terminology that may be new to you is when I say real buyers. You may hear the same numbers for closed sales or closed transactions. I like to use the term real buyers, so you as a seller would know that X number of real buyers were present in the month of July 2019. Or if you yourself are a buyer or a potential buyer, you'll know that what competition you're up against. So we're going to dive right in now into the July 2019 Broward County single family home market report. Now that's a lot to say, but what's more important for you is that you get the information and then you know what to do with it, whether you're buying, selling, or if you're just considering either of those. I would love to be able to be a resource, and hopefully you'll find this information valuable. The first number when we look at the market is the number of transactions or the number of real buyers for single family homes in Broward County for July of 2019 was 1,634, 284 of those real buyers were with cash. Now the median sales price, now this is where I just mentioned we will talk about median sales price versus the average sales price. Now most statisticians and economists are now using median sales price, and we'll explain why in a moment. But median sales price for single family homes in Broward County was $380,000, while the average was $474,793, so almost $475,000. So on the median sales price, we're seeing $380,000. Average sales price, we are seeing $475,000. Let me explain to you why it's so important to know which number you're hearing, if it's median or average, and then why it's so important to make sure that you're using or that you're comparing apples to apples. Now, in our Broward County market, I'm sure you have seen when you're looking at numbers or reading reports, or let's just say you're looking through third-party websites for properties. It could be 2 blocks difference, only a matter of, let's say, 2/10 of a mile, but we could have a couple $1,000,000 difference in sales prices. That's why we look at the median days on market, median sales prices, as opposed to averages, as long as there are enough transactions to justify doing so. So the median days on market, 43 days on market, with a median time to close or median time to sale of 85 days. What does this mean to you in the difference between days on market to time to sale? That means there's a 42-day escrow period. So the time from when it actually goes under contract to when that property is being closed out by and that real buyer becomes a new owner, we're having about a 42-day escrow period. Now, if you're on the buy side, consider this. Is that important? How quickly do you need to be into the place? Not only when we're looking at how long to get under contract, but we also want to consider that escrow period when we're anxiously waiting for the inspections to happen, for the appraisal, for any contingencies to be cleared up. If there is a sale of another property that needs to happen, on the sales side, how quickly do you need to get your funds and then move to the next chapter of your life. So not only look at the median days on market, also keep in mind that time to sell, and then you'll see that escrow period. And for those of you who are real estate professionals out there, keep this in mind. Ask those questions to your clients or customers. When do you need to be out by if you're a buyer, or when do you need to be in, I'm sorry, if you're a seller, and when do you need to be in by if you're a buyer, and keep that escrow in mind. Now, there were 4.2 months of inventory in the month of July. Ended with 4.2 months of inventory. Now, this is through the entire price range, all bands, for single family homes in Broward market. So, of course, if you've been keeping up with the real estate industry, you are aware that this means that it is leaning more towards a seller's market. For buyers, for those real buyers out there, expect to have more competition. We're continuing to hear that there are not enough homes, there's not enough inventory. The reality is there's more inventory than there was last year, but there's also more demand. So you have to keep that in mind and keep it relative. Make sure that we're not only hearing or talking about the inventory shortages. Let's look at the months of inventory, the list price to sales price ratio, something that I usually cover, but in the interest of time, we're not going to cover in this video. So now I want to dive into the luxury price bands. We know that based on the Institute for Luxury Home Marketing, the floor is going to be $500,000 for a luxury niche, and in Miami and Broward County, that price band is right around $670,000. So everything we're going to talk about today is from $600,000 and up. The first price band that we will talk about is the $600,000 to $1 million minus a buck. So we're talking about $999,999. Okay, so when you hear me say 1 million minus a buck, just know that's what I'm talking about. It's easier than me continuing to say 999,999. Hope you got it. If you don't get it next time so you'll have it and you won't have to. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive in. 182 real buyers from 600 to 1 million minus a buck in the month of July for 2019. 61 median days on market. This is a very important number to remember. That 61 median days on market, especially when we talk about that million plus price band. So many of you sellers are going to want to list or position your property at $1 million for ego purposes. For $975, you might be able to sell it in half the time and potentially get more. Just keep that in mind when you're making those positioning decisions. So of these 61 median days on market, 242 new listings came on in the month of July of this year, with a total active number of 1,003 active listings at the end of the month. So we're looking at right at 5.5 months of inventory. Of course, that is still leaning more towards a seller's market. So we're hearing that the luxury niche is not a good time to buy or sell. But in Broward County for single family homes, we're still seeing where it's leaning more to sellers. Now, if you're a seller, this does not mean go crazy, lose your mind, and start asking ridiculous prices. What it does mean is that you might have more options, and you can creatively look at some contract options, some term options when it comes to getting that sale in a very reasonable amount of time with these 61 median days on market. Now, there were 85 real buyers in the 1 million plus price band. That's where we're going to park here for a moment, with a median days on market of 139 days. Don't forget that in the 600,000 to 1 million minus a buck, we were looking at 61 median days on market. For a million plus, we're at 139 days. So that is a very significant difference. So when you're considering positioning your property on the market, just keep that in mind. Remember that question that we talked about earlier in this video: how quickly do I need to be out? Now, is that time worth, or is your need to move positioning at 1 million or 1.1 versus 980? Okay, so those are, of course, questions that I would love to help you with. We can actually drill down, look at the numbers by zip code, neighborhood, as we're going to do in a little bit. I believe it's a fantastic way to help you get your needs met in a reasonable amount of time. There were 104 new listings come onto the market in a million plus price band in Broward County, with a grand total of active listings of 1,037 listings. Now, remember, there were 5.5 months of inventory for the luxury band of 600,000 to a million minus a buck, 5.5 months. When we go to the million plus, it shifts dramatically because we're looking at 12.2 months of inventory for single family homes in that million plus price band. Now that is leaning more favorably, heavily favorably towards the buyers. So if you're looking to buy in that price band with that 139 days on market, now you might not have to make such aggressive offers. You might be able to negotiate terms that would work to your favor. And depending on the property, the seller, their needs, how quickly they need to get out or unload the property, you may even be able to find some equity in the properties at the time of closing, even in an appreciating market. So that's a very important for you to keep your eyes and ears open to. That's going to do it for this video. We're coming right back with another video where we're drilling down by zip code with the luxury price bands, luxury niches, luxury markets. So make sure, if you've watched this one this far, watch the follow-up. It's going to probably be more insightful as we dive into those luxury price bands and zip codes for Broward County. Until next time, don't be average, be world renowned. I love you, God loves you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Peace.